So the future is bright in Vista.
Man, the future's so bright. The diversity that we have here, although it might seem a little tense at times, you've heard that as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Yeah. It's hard to sharpen iron. You got to chink away at it to sharpen it up. Yeah. And that's what we're doing in Vista, is we're getting a lot of, there's a lot of old ways of thinking, a lot of new ways of thinking, and then kind of a lot of us in the middle that are just trying to mesh both of them to provide the best Vista. I think what you see is what you're getting, and people are liking it.
Same business, different day.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the Same Business, Different Day podcast, season 5. I am your host, Zeke Corley, one-on-one with the man that put this show on the map. Our first episode release ever was on October 28, 2020. Dang. Go back and listen to it if you haven't. It's full of gems. Now, this man has kept it consistent with me every single day since I met him. Back then, I called him Clean Joe Green. Now, we could call him Lean Joe Green now, but I think I got a better nickname for this episode. You all know the moniker Gentleman Jack. Today, we're talking to Genuine Joe. Joe Green is in the house. What's up, my friend?
I like it. What's up, Zeke? Thanks so much for having me, man. Really appreciate it,
man. Anytime I get to talk to you, man, it's all good. Yeah, now, we just got a microphone in between.
Hey, it's good to talk to you, but to get to see you, good look on your side of that table, keep a smile on.
All right, back to that Lean Joe Green, man. You look a lot different than that day when we recorded back then.
Hey, I got to renew my vows on my 25th wedding anniversary,
yes,
so I plan on fitting into a skinny suit with some slim fit pants like they make the kids do these days.
I love it, man. So you remember that first episode? You remember when we recorded?
I do remember when we recorded. Pops was here.
Yeah,
and he had a sidekick.
Alyssa,
there you go.
Yeah. It's just me and you today.
We good. 18, baby, let's go. Hey, Pops, if you're listening, you are definitely A++ team. We can't afford you. There's budget constraints.
Exactly. Now, but see, Pops would have just had you in here pressuring you to run for mayor again. Though,
yeah,
so you already
Thank you for sparing me that. I appreciate you.
So some of the things that I remember from that episode, right?
Yes, sir.
One of my favorite things that you kept, pointing back to was work ethic.
Yeah.
You learned that from your mom. Mm-hmm. And your stepdad.
Yeah.
And another one that I thought was really important. Actually, let me give you one of these quotes, because you dropped a few of them in there, right? It's not magic, it's numbers, and the numbers don't lie.
Right, it's not magic, it's math, baby. It's my thing.
I love it. But one of the other things that you brought up, I listened to the episode again this morning, right?
Oh.
And one of the things that you brought up was that back when you were growing up, they weren't diagnosing ADHD, right? Yeah. And nowadays, there's so much more conversation around it. My son has been diagnosed with ADHD, and there's different ways that people approach it, but the mental health conversation is actually happening.
Yes.
It's important, right?
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to tell you what, at that point in time, I wasn't actually diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah. You sounded to be self-diagnosed.
Exactly. And, since then, I've really opened up with my doctor because of the mental health conversation.
Okay.
And I want to say August of 2021, so, a little bit after your podcast still, I met with my doctor and we just finally talked about it. I said, hey, doc, it feels like I got 20 TVs going on in my head all the time. I'm getting to about 90%, can't get it in the end zone. And, nobody really notices because I'm extremely high functioning.
Yes, sir.
And I always get it done just in time.
Yes, sir.
But I really felt like I had too much pressure on me and I wasn't really focused. And, I was actually officially diagnosed with ADHD and given medication to kind of control it. And since then, I feel like my conversations with my wife, my conversations with others, and then really my ability to start and finish tasks, is much easier to accomplish. So I'm going to give a shout out. Hey, if anybody out there struggling and thinking, hey, it's a gift to have your brain going crazy, it is. But let me tell you, I'm down from 20 TVs at a time to about 5 TVs, which is still more than most people have.
Sure.
But the amount of things I can get done, the meaningful relationships and the tasks I can accomplish make me feel much more accomplished. And if you can believe that, I could do a lot before, but mental, illness is real, and it's not always, something that you know and that you see. And that's why we call those things blind spots.
That's right.
Because they're spots that you don't see that maybe somebody else does. So never be afraid to ask about it.
I love it, man. I was having a conversation in my intro episode.
Okay.
And it was just a solo conversation, just talking to the camera, talking to the audience, right? And I was talking about how difficult April and May were for me after a really strong March, right? I crushed it in March, right? I'm out there emceeing everything. You saw me at the Heroes of Vista. There was just so many things going on. I was at a panel here. I was over here doing this, and I just had to take a mental break, man. And so I'm talking, it's mental health in general is just so important, right? It's not always a diagnosis of this or that, but hey, you don't want that time when that snaps on you and then you got to sit down for a while.
And there are professionals out there.
That's right.
And they have real knowledge on how to fix things, you know? So you heard me say earlier, I got a 25-year wedding anniversary coming up. We go to marriage counseling. I'm not ashamed. We go all the time. I mean, sometimes twice a month. Sometimes we'll skip a month. But I have an amazing marriage counselor, and I consider it like the gym for my marriage. Beautiful. Because when you speak to somebody so often, it's really hard to slow down and listen and allow them to speak. And my therapist isn't afraid to tell me to shut up.
That's right.
And when my wife says it, I take it personally because that's somebody that I love and she shouldn't treat me like that. But when you're in a therapist situation, it really helps things. So, if you want to, you believe in your marriage, you believe in your wife, there's some things that are frustrating. Don't let them build up. And, the key to a good, marriage, I think we probably talked about it, the vitamin C's of relationships,
Yes, sir.
Communication, commitment, and compromise. But communication's a big one. So.
I love it, man. Now, speaking of family.
Go ahead.
You're a grandfather now.
Grandpa Joe. You know what's funny, Z? It's like everybody asks you, hey, what's your nickname going to be? Like, you're going to be Pappy or you're going to be Papa or whatever.
Sure.
I'm Grandpa Joe.
That's what's up.
Like, I didn't think I was going to make it to 40, just because you have those thoughts when you're a kid. And the older I get, the more established I am and the bigger my family grows.
Yeah, the bigger your heart is.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. Exactly.
Congratulations to you, man.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. I see some of those pictures on social media and everything, and I could just tell how excited you are every single time.
Blair Payton Stocks is the new key to my heart. Shout out, Blair. And if you didn't know, because you guys all might just be regular dads, you might not be a dad at all, right? But grandpa, okay? They call you that because it's 1,000 times better than being a regular pa. That's what the grand's for. I had no clue, but now I know. So there you go.
Figured it out, right? It's not magic, it's math.
Exactly. It's a grand. Come on. My favorite candy bar, 100 grand. Come on.
That's right. So if for those of you guys that don't know, Joe Green is also the city councilman in Vista.
That's right.
Since 2016.
That's right.
Okay. How's that been going? Now, we all know Joe's always going to represent Vista. You guys see the hat.
Of course, that's right. Joe Green
and I'm talking about worldwide because I've seen that hat in pictures and you in Italy.
That's right. This hat goes Vista, Spain, France, Amsterdam, Germany, Norway, Sweden, you name it. We hold Vista down. Vista is my home. And the reason why I serve on the city council is because Vista is my home. And I might have used this analogy before where I think Vista is like my little sister. Okay. And, your little sister is not perfect by any means. And you see her flaws regularly, but you're the only one allowed to talk bad about your little sister. And when somebody else talks bad about your little sister, you get a little upset, but you want to make sure you fix that because, again, there's blind spots. So things are going really good. When I was elected in 2016, the election was at large. And in 2018, we changed Vista to districts. So now Vista's actually broke up into 4 different districts.
Right.
And
Your district 2, right?
Exactly. When I was reelected in 2020, I was reelected to my district in District 2. It's changed a little bit for me as far as I do concentrate a little bit more on my district and like the north side of Vista, which, I think that's why you break down issues into districts because they're microcosms of communities.
Yes, sir.
And, the district breakdown, initially, you're a little skeptical, like everybody is with change. But I really feel like we're getting good focused impacts in the districts that were either underserved or that maybe, didn't realize they were underserved, And the south side of the area in Shadow Ridge, everybody thinks is rosy, everything's fantastic. But that Shadow Ridge Drive has people speeding down there all the time. There's been a couple real bad accidents at Melrose and Shadow Ridge Drive. That Melrose corridor is always backed up over there. And having somebody dedicated to say, hey, what are we doing for traffic flow? What are we doing for smart light timing, all that good stuff? So since we met last, we did install our smart traffic signal system. So that's a big thing because people want to get home to their families.
Yeah, and that might not be something that people can see just driving, but you're fixing problems even behind the scenes.
Exactly, and that's a lot of what government is doing things behind the scenes. Like you don't know, where your stuff goes when you flush it down the toilet. You don't know that we've been fighting with Carlsbad for about 4 years trying to get our waste treatment plant fixed over there. But we're making it happen, and we get it treated for you, and you haven't had any issues at home. Right. But that's a huge issue when it looks at CIP projects. Our roads are getting slurried in the city of Vista. And good roads are a big deal. San Diego, a lot of complaints about potholes and things. So quality of life issues are things that a lot of people, take for granted. And they're things that we hope that you take for granted. We want you to expect it from us because Vista needs to be a town that people are excited to go to. That when they drive into their town, they feel like they're home.
Yeah. So and this is definitely that kind of home. This is definitely that kind of community. I've been living here going on 4 years now.
Congratulations.
Yeah. It's a place where you stay. Like you were saying earlier, you enjoy it and you stay.
Yeah. This used to be more of a just sleep community, I would say. And I used to have to take my wife. I'm married since 98. We used to have to go to Carlsbad or San Marcos for food. You couldn't get a good meal anywhere. Well, now in Vista, we have a lot of new restaurants and we're attracting a lot of talent. We got a lot of good breweries out here, which is attracting a lot of people from out of town. And we got a lot of new housing options for people. And as you know, there is a housing crisis right now, not only from the affordability standpoint, but just median income families trying to find places to live in Southern California.
And inventory is low.
Inventory is low. And as a government, it's our job to provide affordable options as much as we can, working with our developers, while in turn improving our community. Because those developers do bring funds in, to provide programs and infrastructure improvements. So
what's the outlook like? What are we talking for Vista, for North County? I hope that wasn't a nervous slurp.
No, man, I'll tell you what, Vista's looking great, man. It was a dry mouth slurp. When my wife tells me I get white in the corners when I start talking, I know it's not on video, maybe it is. But, things are going great. We have an extremely diverse council now. And I think, the more diversity that you have on your council, the better results you're going to have for your city. Because I have two ladies on my council who are, I think they're either both under 30 or real close to 30, both products of Vista, both Hispanic ladies, live in two different sections, and they meet with a different demographic and a different resident than I do, because one was a social worker. The other one was a urban farmer and deals with climate action, I'm a businessman. I do real estate. I do math and numbers and stuff.
That's right.
So it's so good to have somebody saying, hey, Joe, the tree canopy in Vista sucks. When I walk to the bus stop, I'm burning up. And we're planting trees in parks that don't even need to be there when we got our residents burning up on the sidewalks with no urban tree canopy. What are we doing about that? You know what? I haven't ridden the bus in a long time. Karina rides the bus and jumps on the train all the time.
Love it.
Regardless of your politics, man, having boots on the ground at home, trying out the things you're investing money in and making sure that they're not messed up is a really fantastic thing.
I agree with you. What I would compare it to, I talk a lot about networking, right? And then when I talk about networking, I like to talk about the different businesses and industries, right? And so I see sometimes where people try to network and it's just like a group of doctors.
Yeah.
A group of lawyers. But so much better networking comes out when you have a doctor, a lawyer, a real estate. So that's what I'm talking about. So the diversity that you're talking about is so important because now we can all share our experiences and actually get somewhere.
Exactly. And the thing with diversity, is everybody talks about it, but one of the best quotes that I heard, and I wrote it down because you got to have good quotes. And the quote that I've been using lately about diversity and inclusion, okay?
Yeah.
When I was on PTA, that was my focus is, hey, man, I didn't have a dad, period. So I want more dads involved. I want more color involved. I want to see people who look like me, who talk like me, who speak like me. I don't know any doctors or lawyers,
Yeah.
So, diversity and inclusion was a big focus of the parent-teacher organization, the PTA, Parent-Teacher Association, so that kids could see the diversity, not only in their school, but in their community at large. And the more and more we talked about it and we chipped away at it, we kind of got this analogy, and it goes, diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. All right? That's right. And everybody says, hey, I'd love to have a liberal perspective on the board. I'd love to have a younger woman's perspective on the board. But they don't want to take their opinions. They don't want to dance with them. You know what I mean? Like, I have two fairly conservatives on one side, and I have two fairly, non-conservatives on the other side. And I consider myself just a moderate Vista dude, you know?
Yeah.
But we can learn a lot from each other. And I really feel like having that diversity and really dancing with both of them, like, hey, this is diversity, but it's also inclusion.
Yeah.
Because, you serve a population that I don't know a lot about. You serve a population I don't know a lot about. But together, we serve Vista.
That's right.
And we got to dance together.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you don't get anything out of just statistics, right? The statistics is we got 2 women and we got 2 men. So then we're good. We got, 2 people of color.
Yeah, we got 2 Hispanics on the council.
Yeah,
that's not how it works.
Where's the conversation?
Exactly.
It's not just that they're there. You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of people, when they're trying to solve the diversity issue, it's just about the stat.
Yeah.
How many of who's, okay, then we're good.
Yeah, it's even about an equity issue, like people, we might have diverged a little bit, but people, equate equity to racial color, in a lot of cases. And don't get me wrong, racial inequities are very true, but there's also different types of social inequities.
That's
and,
right.
Last night when we were talking about, at our council, we talked about equity as a whole when it comes to cultivation and cannabis dispensaries and retail businesses. What type of equity do we have in that business? A lot of different populations, regardless of your skin tone, have been disenfranchised by the marijuana industry.
Absolutely.
Whether you're in jail for it or you lost your job,
That's
you
right.
got kicked out of the military, you lost a city job. Like, there's a lot of people who considered disenfranchised that have nothing to do with the pigment of your skin or your religious beliefs or your sexuality or anything. And when we get on those topics, it's very important that people understand equity goes across the board, but it shifts for different, issues. Like,
That's right.
because there's different levels of equity in different areas. For instance, last night we had somebody speak about equity in the sheriff's department. Okay. In the San Diego County Sheriff's Department, there used to not be a whole lot of color, not a lot of African Americans, not a lot of Hispanics. And you had a lot of complaints, as you should, considering our population is extremely diverse in the county. Well, now when you look at it, the San Diego County Sheriff Department has integrated a lot more diversity within their ranks. Well, when you look at the higher ranks, that diversity isn't there as equally.
Absolutely.
And they say, well, it used to not be there. And now since we have it in the lower ranks, they'll eventually rise up to those ranks. Well, that in itself is evidence of an equity issue.
Sure.
Is because if it's not equal at the top, it's not equal all over, So it's just cool to kind of like get into that. And, everything's so political these days. And equity doesn't have to be political. It goes down to like, hey, check it out. Like, who should we be taking care of? Who doesn't have a seat at this table? And how can we get them there? Who's never had a seat at this table? And how can we get them there?
Yeah.
So
I'm glad that you're having that conversation. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It's so important.
It really is.
Because folks need to be pulled up, sometimes. You need to have that open mind. But I think that there are a lot of folks that are just saying, I don't want to do that at all. Like, I want to keep them down, And
it's
so,
an old way.
Yeah. And so because of that mentality, pretending like you is eventually going to be diverse or eventually get that job, let's just stop pretending. Just say it out loud.
Exactly.
You don't want it to happen.
Yeah. and that's exactly what it comes down to in some cases is it's change, and it doesn't favor you. And when change doesn't favor you, all the Withams of the world, the what's in it for me's, realize that, hey, there's nothing in this for me other than I'm giving up a stake of my claim. And, that's not good for me because I don't fit into that category. And you know what? That's what service is.
That's right.
I mean, I put others above myself in the hopes that at the end of the day, they'll glorify the dude I work for,
Yeah.
But also know that I'm here to serve the city.
That's
and
right.
like, it's not about Joe Green by any means, but at the end of the day, they got a councilman in Vista, a council member in Vista. Okay.
Yeah.
Not about being a council man or a woman. It's about being a council member in Vista doing a great job.
Yes, sir.
With no name because check it out. We got great businesses. We got great revenue. We got people smiling. And we got new residents who are like, I see how you would never want to leave this place.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
So the future is bright in Vista.
Man, the future's so bright. The diversity that we have here, although it might seem a little tense at times, you've heard that as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Yeah. It's hard to sharpen iron. You got to chink away at it to sharpen it up. Yeah. And that's what we're doing in Vista, is we're getting a lot of, there's a lot of old ways of thinking, a lot of new ways of thinking, and then kind of a lot of us in the middle that are just trying to mesh both of them to provide the best Vista. I think what you see is what you're getting, and people are liking it.
Hi, I'm Rachel Belt, President and CEO of the Vista Chamber of Commerce. Over the last 20 years, I've had the privilege of living and working in Vista, and I've met some amazing people with amazing stories. And I'm thrilled to bring them to you as part of Velocity, the Vista Chamber podcast, where I interview the movers, shakers, and change makers impacting the Vista community and beyond. I hope you'll join me as we journey together to hear the stories of the people doing amazing things for our town. Velocity, the Vista Chamber podcast. Find us anywhere you get your podcasts.
Hello, friends. This is Joe Samo from the Samo Law Group. I am the host of Run It By My Lawyer. Over the years, I've had so many people that have had legal issues and legal questions and legal concerns. And I always, over more than 20 years, I've been telling people, before you sign anything, before you do anything, if you have a problem, just run it by my lawyer, right? Just run it by me. And now I have a podcast doing just that. You can call me, you can email me, any questions you have. I love hearing from people and answering legal questions. And on our podcast, we've talked about everything from free speech, gun rights, anything you want to discuss, employment rights, everything. So you have an issue, run it by my lawyer and watch this podcast. You'll be entertained and you'll learn the law. Love to see you. You can find me anywhere, okay? YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever you want. And if you can't find me on some platform, let me know and I'll come find you. All right, thank you.
I know you wasn't expecting this type of commercial of another podcast coming in, but whoever you were listening to, they're irrelevant at the moment. What I'm saying right now is we have a brand new podcast that you should stop listening to whoever you listen to in this moment and listen to us at Odd Pairing. It is about adult beverages and Paige.
I'm supposed to tell you about that.
And Paige is going to tell you a little bit more.
So it's adult beverages, food, community, culture, and basically anything else we find interesting through the drinking.
Yeah. And as you can see, we've been drinking a lot today because we already did the episode. So at any time, you guys can find us when you finish with this podcast, whoever you're listening to. You can find us at YouTube. You can find us on Spotify and iTunes and anywhere else you get your
Instagram
podcast stuff. And you can also find us on Instagram, where you will find hilarious memes and some snippets from our show at Odd Pairing Pod. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ignoring squeals and warning lights on your car is not a good way to lower the cost of owning it. And going without essential business insurance is not a good way to save money in your business. What we know for sure is doing either will cost you more than you will save in the short and the long run. With YourInsurancePlace.com, you can trust a specialist to help maintain your cars and avoid major expenses. Business owners should look to business insurance specialists when it comes to finding competitively priced, quality insurance coverage for their businesses. At YourInsurancePlace.com, we specialize in workers' compensation, general and professional liability, employment practices and cyber liability, property owner policies, and bonds for most types of businesses. YourInsurancePlace.com knows that we can help. If you're uncovered, need to lower the cost of your current insurance, or need better coverage, we can help. YourInsurancePlace.com has been helping businesses for close to 40 years. If you need a quote on your insurance, call us now at 858-569-8100 or find us at YourInsurancePlace.com. We are business insurance specialists ready to help.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fox, founder of Star Fox Media. We're a digital marketing and video production company that focuses on serving small businesses here in Vista, California. We have the team and all of the equipment necessary to produce, film, edit, and distribute your podcast to as many people as possible. For more information, you can reach out to us via email at info@starfox.media or give us a call at 760-385-3117. Let Star Fox Media help you tell your brand story today.
Well, you know what's also great in Vista, though, is the real estate. Now you have been a real estate mogul since, what, 97? 97. So
we don't say mogul. I mean,
can I not use that word for you?
No. Mogul. No? You gotta have multi-story buildings with your name on it.
I feel like I'm gonna use the word for you.
Do your thing, man.
I appreciate that, but pat yourself on the back a little bit, man. 25 years, right, with your licensed real estate.
This year in November, I actually got my license just a couple days after my 18th birthday. I want to say.
Okay.
And so.
That's such a big step, man.
And I didn't make money at the time, but I got the license so that I had the license and I learned the ropes. I was a transaction coordinator for a while. I answered phone calls. Yeah. I believe in business. The first voice that you hear is the best voice they should hear. Yeah. And you need to hook them when they call. So I always want to be that guy, like, hey, thank you for calling Homes in North County. This is Joe. How can I help you? Yeah. And we actually put a magazine out of homes that were already sold, and I'd have to explain to people why we did that. And sometimes people were mad, but it was cool. And I'll tell you what, over the last 25 years, I've watched real estate in Vista go from prices, as high as, in the late 80s, prices were 400 some odd thousand over off of eucalyptus. Then they drop way down in the early 90s where you could buy that same house for $199,000. And just now at the top of the market, you get that same house for about $950,000. Wow. So over the last 25 years, I've watched people build wealth in Vista, number one, that I've been selling houses to, but I've also watched the real estate market multiply about 5 times what it was before. I mean, a 500% improvement on market value over 25 years. Like that's a great investment.
Yeah. Now that's one thing to say you witnessed it, but you also took part of it. I mean, this show's a business lesson, right? This show is to, talk to the aspiring entrepreneur and just kind of give them some advice on how to get to where they want to go, right? You started getting that license back at 18. Yeah. Then we're also talking to current business owners, right? Yeah. And explaining to them that, hey, we know it's a long haul, but, let's keep it going. So 25 years later, how did you get from there to here?
Man, I'll tell you what, hard work, okay? Yes, There's no substitute for hard work, man. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard every single time. Luckily, I was blessed with talent and hard work. Yes, sir. And those two things have made me what I feel like a above average leader and a great employer and a great worker. So a wife and having a purpose, it's not about making money. And that's something that you realize the older you get. Like, hey, if I just had 10,000 in the bank, 20,000 in the bank, 30,000 in the bank, 50,000, there's no number you could put in there that's going to change who you are. And there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be a number because second you change who you are and give up what you're fighting for, why did you even fight for it? Yeah. So things have changed for me perspective wise, and it's really allowed me to look at business from a 40,000 foot perspective instead of from the guy sitting at the table saying, hey, I got to get 5 lists of houses out by 5 so I can go see my buddies at 5:30 to play basketball. Okay. Now I look at it like, hey, what kind of money do I got coming in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the road? And it's allowed me to diversify a lot. Yeah. So, I got a GLC commercial consulting. I got a Unite Pacific gentleman that I'm working with different types of commercial design, residential design, West Coast Financial, homes and loans. Yeah. Green Team Realty. Yes, sir. And, working on some YouTube stuff and just a bunch of stuff with my crew. I got 6 good agents working. And when you diversify more, no matter what the market is, it gives you the ability to still provide.
You're winning. You're winning, man. You win. And so staying motivated though. I mean, so now diversifying, I guess that kind of helps with that, right? Because now you're waking up again. You're a baby all over again. You're switching into these other avenues. Exactly. So, but how after all these 25 years, how does a business owner stay motivated?
So the way that they stay motivated is they stay hungry. Is you stay hungry and you maintain purpose. So, you heard Zeke say earlier, I'm a grandpa. So, I don't want wealth like I used to want wealth. Okay. I want to try to obtain generational wealth like I've seen other people have. When I was a kid, I didn't get to go to the snow until I was 18 years old. When kids would go to Big Bear, man, I was like, What Snow Summit? I'd love to go to Snow Summit. But that was my idea of wealth back then. And if I could just get enough money to buy a snowboard, and that was 18, I went snowboarding like, yes, isn't that? So, as you get older, I really feel like you have to change your purpose and you have to find purpose. Yeah. So for me, my purpose is my kids, my grandkids, and really creating something for them so they don't have to struggle like I struggled. And if you didn't struggle, that's fantastic. I'm not saying you have to struggle in order not to struggle, but know that a struggle is real. And that when people say they're fighting for diversity and inclusion and equity and things like that, it's because something happened that they think they were overlooked. I opened up on the dais at a meeting a while ago about sexual abuse that came on me as a child, being a child of a single parent that worked a whole lot and having friends and, not being home. I was a latchkey kid is what they called you back then. And, I never really, told anybody about it or did anything about it. Never realized like what type of effects it had on me until I got married and, started talking to my wife and things. But, there's a lot of things that happen to people who don't have people to just talk to. Okay. I didn't have a man I could trust until my mom married my stepdad. And it took a little bit for me to even trust him. Because my father left when I was young, even though I had to visit, during the summer, it still wasn't that bond. But to be, molested as a child by somebody's older brother that you respect, it's a man. And, at that point, I thought all men were great and all men were help, and then, somebody like that doesn't have somebody. So that's somebody, in my opinion. I lived on East Los Angeles Street in Vista. I had a scholarship to the Boys and Girls Club, okay? I had no adults in my life. So therefore, right now, I know some of those kids in my area, not that they're dealing with the same issues, but they're dealing with an issue of not having availability to somebody who wants to help. They don't have positive influences. And that is an equity issue because we need to provide a community center over there at Luz Duran Park. We need to have more good influences and we need to spend money if that's what it takes. We now have ambassadors in Vista that Wednesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. they're walking around our downtown area just checking in.
That's right.
Do you need directions? Are there pictures? Are you okay, little boy? Are you, they'll talk to anybody, and there's 3 of them.
People you can trust.
You can trust them. They got the shirts on and stuff, and, we need more of that, and you need more purpose. And I would say, my purpose is to just make sure that people don't go through what I went through.
I love it.
And if they're going through what I went through, know that there's help out there. And that people genuinely care, and there's also funding for a lot of things. Money blinds people. Hey, I can't pay my rent next month. I'm going to get evicted. I can't pay my electric bill next month. I'm going to get evicted. I have nobody to call. Call Joe Green, 760-639-6130. All right. We have funds allocated for housing assistance. Part of our master plan to prevent homelessness is to help with transitional housing and to help with financial needs when you're on the verge of getting evicted for something small. A lot of people who lose their housing lose it for less than $3 or $4 grand. And we have grants from the state, from the feds, set aside so that our Vista residents can maintain a certain sense of security in the homes they live in. That's big stuff, man. And I got evicted from 5 places growing up and electric shut off, water shut off. Like, people don't have to deal with that anymore.
I hear you, man. And
that's
you know
what?
I really appreciate you sharing, man. All of that. You understand me? I'm telling you, I want you to be, I want you to be clear, man.
Go ahead,
I
Zeke.
appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, that's a big thing, man.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Can have a major effect on your life, man. And so, but I'm happy to see where you are right now.
Yeah, well, it doesn't make you less of a person, and it doesn't make you matter less, and it doesn't mean you can't be a heck of a strong individual and make a big difference.
But you also are turning the tables, right? Giving back to the youth and the kids and stuff.
Exactly.
And so now there's that balance, though, right? Because you're a big, busy businessman.
Oh, yeah. It's
but you got
schedules.
this family, and their family's so important to you.
Of course.
And so how do you balance all of that?
Well, for me, it's scheduling, and before.
Oh, wait a minute. I remember you used to schedule a phone call with your mom.
But I'll tell you, and I still do every Wednesday, you best believe, 7:30 in the morning. Mama heard me tell her I love her. And I do boy day and stuff like that still. So a lot of it is calendar. But I'll tell you what, man, getting my ADHD in check helped tremendously. All those things I did before were what my doctor called tics to kind of make sure that I wasn't losing track of what I was supposed to do. So now, I still keep my calendar, but I just think about what makes me happy and what brings me true joy. Okay. So, Happiness is temporary, joy is permanent. And knowing that I'm making a difference in people's lives brings me joy. Having a good dinner makes me happy. Okay. So I kind of try to specify like, hey, today are we going to do things that make us happy, or are we going to do things that are joyful? Right. And you have to have a family that understands and a wife that supports you. Okay. My wife isn't a outgoing, public speaking, let me share my life with you type of woman. She's a beautiful woman and I love her heart, and she's very kind. Yeah. But she balances me out, and she lets me know, you have to say no. You can't say yes to everything. Okay. Because if you're saying yes to everything, then you are saying no to somebody without even knowing it. And sometimes that's your family.
Okay. I hear that, man. I love it. So, but what I really like about that though too is kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier, which is about finding purpose.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You found your purpose, and that's what's keeping you motivated. And that can be in business as well. So after all this time in business, do the challenges change for you?
So, I talk a lot about personal stuff and not a lot about business stuff. And because I want a lot of people to know, as you've heard the saying, it's not business, it's personal. Your business should be personal. Okay. And I do understand the saying of I don't take business personally. Because like if deals fall out of escrow and stuff, I'm not going home and crying, but I care about my clients' feelings, And I think the key to being successful in business is taking your business personally. Okay. Taking your business and making your business be a part of yourself. Like my business name isn't, whatever. I mean, Wacom Sacom Realty, it's Green Team Realty. Yeah. That's my name. That's a part of me, Yes, sir. So when somebody talks about Joe Green and Green Team Realty, I need them speaking good about me. Therefore, every time I deal with a client, whether I'm going to make money off of them or not, and I don't do rentals, but you best believe I find everybody rental properties, and I have doors that I manage. There's things I say I don't do. I don't do commercial, but I'm going to help my parents with their commercial, It's just a matter of, really loving what you do and making sure that you take it personally and that you really believe that it does matter. And if you don't love what you do and you're not taking it personally, find what that is. Because I hope you feel the passion in my voice. I hope you feel the love I have for my city, the love I have for service, the love I have for my community, and the love I have for selling homes and loans, right? Yeah. Because it is a part of me and I care about it. And in order to be successful, you have to care. So if you're waking up every day, you're opening your business like, I hate opening this business every day. Find what you like. I told Zeke a while ago, we had a little conversation. What's my dream job? We're going to put on this podcast right here. If anybody could get me my dream job, I would like to be a U.S. ambassador for the United States of America, Mr. Ambassador Joseph W. Green. And you say, hey, what country do you want to be an ambassador for? Again, you got to start somewhere, man. I'll intern in Sri Lanka if I got to, I am the American dream. Yes, sir. America is an amazing place to live. We've come a long way as a country in the years where it's come from diversity and inclusion and equity. Yeah. And we got a lot of jacked up people saying a lot of jacked up stuff right now. But the truth is the community we live in allows you the opportunity to be what you want, to open a business, to earn what you can based off how hard you work, and to establish and build relationships with who you want based off of whatever you want to base those relationships off of. That's right. And there's no other country in the world that allows you to be that free. And that freedom is what allows us to be who we are. And I might not like what you say all the time, Zeke. Okay. You might not like what I say all the time. Yeah. But as a person, an American, I'll fight for you any day of the week, man. Yeah. Because I love who you are, and I love that we're all Americas. That's right. And that's why I think a U.S. ambassador is another thing I'm passionate about. So it's the only job I could think of other than, and mind you, today's not the day for that job, but it's the only other job I could think of. I would love that much. Yeah. Ambassador Green. There you go. Hey, man, it's got a good ring to it. I love it, man. Tell them. I love it. I'm here for you, man, 100%. And you heard it here first. I'm glad. That's what I like to hear. Now, you did tell me that before, but I wasn't going to share. No, I need you to share. It's one of those dreams. I mean, I don't want to be the president of the United States by any means. I just didn't want to get ahead. Yeah, it's good. But I'm telling you, I'll get a resume and we'll see how it goes. I love it, man. Because I was just going to ask you what the 5-year plan is. Because, you either planning or you're retiring. That's business. Yeah. That's life. Yeah, that's what it is. So, and that's a great question. What's the 5-year plan? So 2024, my service as a councilman ends in District 2. As of right now, I have no plans for rerunning for office. Okay. Simply because at that point in time, my son is going to be in his junior year of high school. And as I told you previously, every Wednesday since my son was born has been boy day. I've maintained an amazing relationship with my son, and I feel like his junior year and senior year in high school, that's not where you want to get away from your kids, man. Yeah. That's when you want to lean in a little bit because, it's like you don't get the ball to the red zone and not put it in the end zone.
Yes, sir.
I've worked on my son my whole life, and I really want to be there for him. And, I wasn't, unfortunately, the last 6 years when I was an elected official, I missed a lot of stuff with my daughters as they were graduating high school and going into college. And don't get me wrong, I was a present dad as much as I could be. Sure. But, at the age I am, having a grandkid and having a son, so probably public service, I won't be an elected official, I would say, in 2025. Okay. But I plan on, being on a lot of boards and serving my community as much as I can. Yeah. I can actually have more of an opinion, believe it or not. Yeah. Being an elected official.
In 2025, you come back and tell us where the bodies are buried.
2025, I'll come back, tell you more about it. And from a business sense, my son-in-law works for me now. I got a cousin on staff. I got 3 other really good agents. And, I'm trying to slow down and take a little bit off of my plate and allow them to do a little bit more. So I'm not retiring by any means because I live in Southern California and I do still have a mortgage, unfortunately. But I'm definitely slowing down now because I've been working, 28 years, man, from 5 in the morning until 10 at night. It's a lot of hours to put in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But so you still got a plan, though.
I still got a plan. Yeah. Oh, and I want to get my handicap under 10 at the golf course. So I've always told
it's a balance.
I told my wife this, and gentlemen know this. If your handicap is below 10, you're neglecting your family. Period. All right? But if you're semi-retired, it's allowed.
It's okay to set goals.
Exactly. It's okay to have dreams, So I'm saying there's a chance. Z.
Hey, man, you got a book coming? Anything else you want to announce? Let's tell it now.
No, man, no book, nothing too crazy coming. Okay. I mean, I just want to tell you guys, if you ever want to reach me direct. joegreen760@gmail.com is my personal email. There's no filters there. Send it directly to me. You can contact me on my cell phone via text or via call, 760-815-4872. Know that I am selling homes and loans to keep the lights on, but I'm also there for a good conversation. You just need to talk about something or you need resources. Whether you're in the county or the city, my city or not, I don't care, man. I got a good network and helping people is what I do because, bottom line is I'm a dude who loves a God who made me and has given me more than I deserve. So I want to give back as much as I can.
I love it, man. Congratulations to you, man. Congratulations on your good health. And keep working on it. Congratulations. And that's, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that. You know what I'm saying? I love to see it. I love to see you every time I see you. Congratulations on being a grandfather. That's a monster right there.
Heck yeah, man.
Because just all of your success, man.
Heck yeah, man.
And the future. And thanks for coming on the show and making these great announcements and all of this stuff, man.
Thank you so much. And you know what, man? Congratulations. 5 seasons. Me and my son were looking you up yesterday. And he's like, did you know he does have you as season 1, episode 1? And there's 4 seasons. And so he's like, you're either going to be the last one of season 4 or you're going to be the first one of season 5, Dad. So anyway, man, I appreciate you having me on. And I know we get a little off topic because, like I say, business is personal. And I think business owners need to know that there's a lot of struggles you overcome. But in the end, your purpose is what's most important. And just maintain your drive and your passion. Good stuff.
Thanks for the good word.
All right.
Joe Green, ladies and gentlemen.
Persevered, llámame por favor. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Same Business, Different Day. We truly appreciate your support. Please like, subscribe, and leave a nice comment on all platforms. It really helps our show. The Same Business, Different Day podcast is produced by A Different Day Radio, Star Fox Media, and James Russell.